Sinner, whoa, sinner, you're gonna meet Jesus one night. You're gonna meet Father Time one day. You're gonna meet God one morning. You're gonna meet Him one day. Let's open up, shall we, to 1 Timothy 4:1, Hebrews 10, 1 John. These are the verses and books I'll be coming out of. King James. Saints, pray for me. Pray for my mother, our health specifically, one another. This particular message may be 2 or 3 parts, maybe just one. There's some stuff I want to cram in here. And when I mean cram, I don't mean rush. I mean want to get in details and specifics. Now, this is going to be concerning the falling away that's spoken of in the Bible. Okay, the great falling away and the falling away. There's actually, now again, I said in another video prior yesterday, I did, this is not what I'm doing here now particularly, is not law. This is not like canonized law that thus says Michael and this is it. This is what I have read and understood from the falling away. There's a twofold part to the falling away. It's not just one thing. There's 2 different parts to this falling away. It will be one, okay, an individual falling away. Individual people will be falling away from the faith and departing from the faith individually, okay? And the first scripture that I'll give you will be 1 Timothy 4:1. And the second part to this overall falling away is a doctrinal falling away. Doctrinal concerning doctrines of the Bible, New Testament, salvation, and particularly, most particularly, specifically the gospel that was once delivered unto the saints. The gospel that was once delivered unto the saints by the Apostle Paul is found in 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4. That is what I believe. That is what I teach. That's what I preach and give out as salvation, the gospel. 1 Corinthians 15, 5, 1-4. The death, the burial, and bodily resurrection of Christ. It's not being taught today. See, there was, in Paul's day, there was a standard, and that was what? The gospel. 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4. That was the standard for salvation. Nothing below that, nothing above that. Where are we now? Are we at that standard today? Are we at that level where we won't start it back then, where it was once delivered unto the saints as death, burial, and resurrection, faith to believe? Is it still being taught like that today? Well, of course it is, but not like it should be. That's a falling away. Don't you see what I'm saying here? They fell from where they first started. There's twofold part to this falling away. It's an individual falling away. Individual people who made profession of faith, who appeared to be Christians. That's clear in the Bible that they went out from among us. That's another part of the scriptures I'm going to provide, 1 John. But so let's get into 1 Timothy 4:1, King James Bible. Okay. Now, it says in 1 Timothy 4:1, now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisies, having their own conscience seared with a hot iron. Now, I did this before 1 Timothy 4:1. It's in my archives, but I'm going to stop there. Now, I want to point out in 1 Timothy, okay, again, why is it that I don't believe these are true Christians that are being referred to? Well, it says that these people, okay, these folks who depart from the faith and these people who, depart from the faith I was thinking about Hebrews for a minute. I'm going to go there too. But these folks who depart from the faith, take a look at what it says that they do. They give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. That doesn't sound like a Christian or, a true believer to me. You know why it doesn't sound to me like that? Because that's not the characteristics of what Jesus says that his sheep do. And what does Jesus say in the book of John about his sheep? Now, if these people here spoken of in 1 Timothy 4:1, if they are true believers, then Jesus lied and doesn't know his own sheep. God forbid. Because Jesus says in the book of John, my sheep hear my voice and I know them and they follow me. He also says, and that's the very same book, that a stranger they will not follow, but they will flee from strangers, for they know not the voice of strangers. That is what the Lord Adonai taught, right, about his sheep. Again, quick comparison. Jesus says, my sheep, they know not the voice of strangers. They will flee from strangers. These people in 1 Timothy 4:1, are they fleeing? No, they're not fleeing. They're taking heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of demons. Don't you see that? That's one reason as to why I don't believe that these are true believers that are being referred to here. If these people here who are departing from the faith in 1 Timothy 4:1 were sheep, no, they would be doing what Christ said that they do. Flee from strangers. They don't take heed to seducing spirits. Is seducing spirits and doctrines of demons, is that not coming from the enemy? Doctrines of demons, seducing spirits, that is the voice of a stranger, would it not be? That is the voice of a stranger. Jesus is pretty clear that his sheep don't follow strangers, they flee. That's the behavior of a sheep. Okay. Moving on, we're going to move on to the next portion, scripture. That is Hebrews 10. Okay. Hebrews 10. Another famous portion of scripture, but I'm not going to get into if we sin willfully part. Hebrews 10:26 and on, where people run to this portion, talk about if we sin willfully after we receive the knowledge of the truth. But I am reading from Hebrews 10, and that is Hebrews 10, starting at you know what? I actually am going to recant that. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start at verse 23, and I want to tackle those verses. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith. Hebrews 10:23. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. For he is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another. Actually, hold on, saints. I'm going to pause the message and come right back on the next. Okay? Bye-bye. Hold on.